I'm using some cherry wood. Oh my god. What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Smoke Garage. So if you've seen episode 1, you saw me do a really basic brisket on the smoker for the first time ever. And a big part of this is I need help. So if you do know what you're doing and you've spotted some mistakes, make sure you leave some comments below. And if you don't know what you're doing, just like me, stay tuned, pay attention to the comments, and hopefully together we can all upgrade our smoking quality. In that last video, we did a really basic brisket in the smoker. This is the first time I'd ever used a smoker ever. And today we're going to do some ribs. So if you're anything like me, stay tuned and find out how not to do it. And then we'll read all the comments and people are going to tell us how to do it properly. And for anyone that has left advice in the first video, please understand that I'm filming this before that video is even posted. So I haven't read your comments yet. I hope that makes sense. That's enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's get this thing lit, get some ribs out and get them seasoned. Alright, I've got 2 full racks here, ready to go. So from what I've seen, the first thing I need to do here is cut off all these little excess bits and remove the membrane on the bottom side. So let's trim this up and get it as good as we can. And I'm probably going to trim the last little bits off here as well, just to square it up a little bit, because that's probably just going to burn. Looks a bit thin. Now for the membrane, let's see if I can do this. This is something I just learned as well. I didn't know you had to do this. Apparently you use a butter knife, get it underneath, but that's inside and I'm outside. I feel like that's okay. Might be some big chunks of fat. Well, let's just cut those off. I know that some of the fat will render down, but I want to try to give us the best shot possible. Alright, there's a good pat down. So a big part as to why I'm making these videos is I've watched a couple of videos on how to do this, and they all say different things. Some say to do the 3-2-1 method, so 3 hours smoke, 2 hours in foil, 1 hour something else, I don't know. Some people say not to do that because it turns out gluggy, or I don't know. And then I'm just conflicted. So I think the best thing to do is do it myself, see what I think, let you guys judge what I've done and tell me how to do it better. That way I'll be able to make better stuff. I'll be able to tell people what I've learned and they can make better stuff. Does that make sense? Sit down. I saw that. No. Alright, so now it's time for the rub. I'm going to use this Sweet Memphis barbecue rub and then just a little bit of the brisket rub, just because I know it's got a bit of pepper in there, but the wife did find that one a little bit on the spicy side. So I'm going to focus on this one, I'm going to do the bottom side, then the top side, repeat on both. Alright, the ribs are all seasoned, and as you can see, the one that I did first, it's already all soaking in and like sweating, so I think that's a good sign. So now we just have to wait for these coals to start turning white all the way to the top, and then we can pour them into the base and then start getting this thing up to temperature. So while we're waiting for everything to get up to temp, I'm just letting you know I'm using some cherry wood. As I do want a lot of sweetness in this, I'm actually going to add some maple syrup at some stage as well, probably some brown sugar. So we're obviously going for that big, thick, caramelized, sweet taste. I know how to cook. Don't get me wrong, guys. I just don't know how to smoke food. So, cherry wood, I think, is the right one to do. I think it was the wrong one to use for the brisket, as it definitely didn't bring out the best flavor. So, once it's up to temp, coals in, cherry wood in, get it up to temp. Yeah, let's do that. Good girl. Okay. Alright guys, coals in the chimney already. Let's pour them in and get this thing... Let's pour them into the base and get this thing warmed up. Alright guys, we've got the temp stabilised around 250 to 260 Fahrenheit. I think we're ready to pop these ribs on and get them started. Go to the big boy first. Apparently you want to squish them together. Man, these only just fit on this thing. Alright, let's get the lid on. Until the sun comes up. Alright guys, ribs are on and I want a maximum temp apparently of 275, which I've been led to believe is the limit of smoking. Any hotter than that and you're starting to barbecue. So we obviously want to smoke this thing for at least the first hour or two. So keep it at a nice low temp. We could go lower, but I haven't got all day and they're fairly thin ribs anyway, so they're probably going to cook quicker than I expect. But if you're watching this and you've already spotted some mistakes, please let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, for those that are interested, this gauge is showing about 260 Fahrenheit, yet this guy, which isn't touching any metal, it just looks close, is only showing 250, 248, it's sort of floating around there. So this gauge is obviously higher than that one, which means it is reading slightly higher temp because heat rises. So we are actually cooking slightly cooler than what this says. It's probably just a good thing to keep in mind. Alright, the ribs have been on for just under 1 hour. I have been absolutely struggling with temp control today. I don't know what's going on, but it just will not hold a good temp. This thing needs a vent on the bottom because it's killing me. I'll sort that out. Let's check these ribs out and see how they're going. Alright, they are getting there nice and slow. But like I said, I have been struggling with temps. So if you've got any advice on getting this thing to hold a stable temperature, please leave a comment. Alright, we have just hit the 2 hour mark. It's time to check and see if these guys are ready to wrap. So if you're not familiar, apparently what you can do is if you can touch the rub and it doesn't come off on your finger, they're ready to wrap. There's a name for it, Texas something. I can't remember. Anyway, let's check these things out and see if we can wrap them up. Okay, looking pretty good. I think we're ready. Let's get these guys wrapped up and add some more flavour. Alright, I've got some good quality aluminium foil, aluminum foil, depending on where you're from. Now ideally you want these bigger than this, because there's going to be a gap. So, I'm just going to have to be smart about it. Let's get one of the rack of ribs on this guy, add some flavour, and then get back on there nice and quickly. Alright, so before we get the meat, I remembered we actually need to add some stuff to this because I'm going to do it meat side down. So I've got some maple syrup, and then some brown sugar. Now we can put the meat on it. Meat side down. Oh man, these smell so good. Add a little bit more of the maple syrup, because why not? Nice and tight without obviously piercing a hole in anything. Get that one back on, repeat the process. So far I think this is going quite well. Timeline's exactly what it's meant to be according to most of the videos I watched. Some people have whole different methods. So 2 hours in the smoker and the bark has started to form and it's starting to feel pretty good. They're wrapped And now this should take another hour and a half to 2 hours wrapped, and that's when things start to get a bit mushy and start to add some moisture back into it. Kind of creates its own little steam bath inside the foil, I believe. And then we're going to open them up, run a glaze over them, which I'm actually going to make from the juice that comes out, and then brush that on 30 minutes. That should kind of coagulate the sauce on top, and then they're ready to eat. Fingers crossed this all goes to plan, but so far I think we're looking okay. Now already my learnings from this is I wish I was using the little briquettes, because the coal I'm using is just so much work. It's really, really time consuming, and it's so hard to get a good quality, stable temperature. So I've looked into doing the snake method, where you lay them out and it just burns as it needs it. It's just going to remove so much time and having to sit here and watch things, because that's not always going to be an option. So next time I smoke, I think I'll be using the briquettes. Let me know if that's the right thing to do, because again, I don't know. Alright, these have been wrapped up for a little bit over an hour now. Just going to give them a quick little probe check. Oh, these smells insane. Oh, going through like butter. Oh man, the smell is insane. Alright, I reckon these are very close to finishing off. Alright, let's get them out of there. And then I'm just going to do a final little bit of saucing and then get it to glaze on there. Alright, final bit. Let's get these guys opened up. And we're just going to boat these up a little bit, because we're going to leave them exposed, but we want to collect all the juices to make sure it stays moist. Oh man, they're already falling apart. Just going to add a touch more of this maple. Just get it on there, make sure it's all up in the creases. Pop it back on there for about 30 minutes, and that should sort of coagulate all that maple syrup and give us a nice thick sauce on top. Okay, it's been about 25-30 minutes. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, they look done to me. Alright, the moment of truth. Smell good. I did drain the rest of the stuff out of the foil, so we can use that as a glaze if we need it. Let's cut it. Let's taste it. Oh, let's have a look. Cut this bit here. I mean, don't even really need to cut it. You know, kind of just tear it. Oof. I'll give you a close-up on that bad boy. So you can see there's a real nice smoke ring on that. Let's give it a taste. Ooh. Alright, now so these have been resting for about 15-20 minutes. Oh, let's go. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. That's the best ribs I've ever had in my life. Oh. Wow. I'm gonna have one real happy wife. Guys, if I can do this, you can. Alright. I need to go and serve this up. This is so good. Perfect. Perfectly sweet. A little bit of spice from that second rub. That little bit, just a tiniest bit of heat. These are the best ribs I've ever had in my life. Oh, they're incredible. Wow. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to go serve these up before I get in a whole lot of trouble. And again, these were just supermarket bought ribs. I have no idea when the harvest was, but they're great. They taste amazing. This little smoker, definitely a good investment for the price. Like I said, there is a link if you want to check that out. Go and buy one yourself if you don't have one, because this is the best way to cook. But that is going to do it, guys. If you have any input how I can make these even better, I'll obviously take it. So leave your comments below. Make sure you stay tuned for more content by clicking that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.